Alright, here we go. So, I've been kind of wanting to make this for a little bit, but it just hasn't. I've filmed some stuff and it hasn't. Yes, I'm wearing my clothes. You're going to see this in a few videos. So, I think I've mentioned this before, but McKenzie was born with a condition called Duodenal Atresia. And basically, let me give you the medical definition: the congenital absence or complete closure of a portion of the lumen of the duodenum. So basically, the hole kind of going into her stomach, and I'll have maybe try to find a picture here somewhere for you. Basically, parts of her stomach were not wide enough for fluid or food to go down into, and so that obviously can create a lot of problems with not only the child, obviously not only create a lot of problems with the child when they are born, because they can't eat food like normal because they're just going to spit it back up, it won't go down, but it also creates problems with the mom because, or can create problems with the mom because in utero, babies recycle the amniotic fluid, and so it's just kind of like a continuous cycle, and babies with duodenal atresia can't recycle that fluid, so it goes in, but it gets spit back out, essentially. So I'm going to separate this video into two parts. One's going to be the pregnancy and the complications that arose from that with me. So one's kind of going to focus on me and kind of with her at the same time, you know, obviously. And then the second video is going to focus on her NICU stay and everything that happened with that. Just, I think it'll be easier. So let me start by saying I had a pretty normal pregnancy up until 23 weeks. Although I do think I showed a little bit sooner than other first-time moms. I think I was showing around 12 to 13 weeks when people began like questioning whether or not I might have been pregnant. And I didn't tell anybody until I was like 15 weeks, but that's beside the point. So, go to 20-week ultrasound. We were at like American Radiology or one of those places, so they don't really tell you anything, and they said, you know, you're going to need to talk to your doctor. Okay, fine. Around 23 weeks, and I don't have the exact date, around 23 weeks, one of my OBGYNs called, and she said, you know, they saw something on the ultrasound. We're not really sure if it is, but we need you to go to a maternal fetal medicine doctor over at the hospital and get it checked out. Okay, you know, I'm a little upset. It's my first kid. I don't know what this all means. 23 weeks and 2 days, I go to see the maternal fetal medicine doctor. And I remember her saying that she has never been able to so clearly see a double bubble on an ultrasound like they could see with McKenzie. And I'm going to try to get you here. I'm going to get you a picture of it because there are lots of pictures of the double bubble on the internet. I want you to kind of give the definition or like what they're looking for. Okay, let's see here. The double bubble sign is a feature of pediatric imaging seen on radiographs or ultrasounds in which air-filled bubbles are seen in the abdomen, representing two discontinuous loops of bowel and a proximal or high small bowel obstruction. Clearly just going, I've never seen one so clear, because usually, I'm not saying usually, but in like she's mentioned in other cases, they've had to do repeat ultrasounds. It was suspected, but it wasn't known until birth or later on, and here I am at like 23 weeks and 2 days and they can see it, so they know that this is what it is. My family is scheduled to go on vacation later that week, And it's like, okay, can I still go? And they're like, yeah, you can do absolutely anything you used to do. Don't even worry about it. It was the worst vacation ever, guys. I remember being there, and there was so much pain in my rib cage. I couldn't breathe. I didn't want to walk around. My mom actually got a wheelchair for me twice in the parks because I just couldn't do it. It was so bad. The one day I laid in the bed all day, and I have like a pretty high pain tolerance. I couldn't do it. I felt like I couldn't breathe. So here we go. We get back from vacation, and I go to the doctor like 2 days later because I was at 24 weeks and 6 days at this point. And come to find out, now I know why I'm having all this pain in my rib cage and stuff, because my levels of fluid were at 28 centimeters. And if a normal pregnancy has anywhere between 5 centimeters to 25 centimeters of fluid. So I was at 28 at this point. So I had polyhydramnios. And the doctors are like, okay, well, this is something we need to be careful about. We need to watch it. You know, it could go down. It could, you know, we don't know. Okay. Okay. Things progress. Around July 28th, I called the doctor because I was noticing some stuff when I went to the bathroom, and they don't seem too concerned about it. Just kind of like, okay, well, maybe you might be getting a urinary tract infection. You know, we don't know. We got to keep it, you know, just pay attention to it. All right, fine. It rolls around August 11th, and I'm having some abdominal pain. It's really bad on my left side, and the docs are like, well, you just need to rest. Okay, fine. August 14th rolls around, and I knew when I went to the bathroom at this point. I knew, okay? I passed my mucus plug. I knew it was my... Hey. Stop. Hey, stop. I knew it was my plug. The doctor was telling me on the phone that it probably wasn't, and that I should just come in the next day for an appointment. In hindsight, I probably should have taken myself to the hospital then, but I waited until the following day, and I went to the hospital. I'm at 28 weeks and 6 days at this point. And the doctor gets me up on the table, and she's like, you're 1 centimeter dilated, and you've had all of this discharge, and I'm going to need you to go to the hospital just to get checked out. Go over to the hospital. I'm hooked up to the monitors. I'm having contractions I'm not even feeling. I'm like, okay. They're like, you don't feel those? They're off the charts. I'm like, no, I'm not feeling anything. Okay, fine. So in the hubbub of all this, they bring in an ultrasound machine and quickly discover that my fluid levels, mind you, on July 18th, my fluid level was at a 28 centimeter. Here we are on August the 15th, and they measure it at 41 centimeters. So I've gained 13 centimeters of fluid. Well, so now everybody goes into hyperdrive. I'm rushed downstairs and admitted in preterm labor. I'm giving magnesium sulfate, steroid shot right away, and they're just, it's like go, 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 go. They're like, you got to stay in the bed. You can't do nothing. You could be having this baby at any minute. Meanwhile, scared little me. I was 22 at the time. I'm calling them on. I'm like in tears. I'm in preterm labor. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh, God bless my mother, because she came. She left work right away. She came to the hospital, and she stayed with me the next 3 days. Well, she went to work after, like, the panic was over, but she came back every night and stayed with me. God bless her. I love my mother so much. So, in this couple days that I'm in the hospital, a couple of things happened. They decided to remove fluid from my abdomen, and I believe it's called a trans-abdominal fluid removal. You're gonna have to maybe correct me. I was looking through my baby book, and that's what I had written down. I don't know if it's correct, okay? So basically what that is they take a needle and attach it to a tube, essentially, and that tube goes into a jar. Here you go. Basically goes through the tube and into the jar. I will say my maternal fetal medicine doctor was on vacation at this point, so I got some guy who I have no respect for, and we're going to get to that in a stop. We're going to get to that in a minute. But it was painful. This time it was painful, but we got through it, and they removed about 9 or 10 centimeters of fluid. They also decided to put me on indomethacin, and they said that this particular medication I had to come off of at 32 weeks, even though I had to come off of it at 32 weeks because it could potentially close a heart valve in the baby. It was safe to take up until that point, and I would just be pulled off of it at that point. But basically it would help to reduce my fluid levels. Okay, so I'm discharged from the hospital on August the 18th, and I'm complete bed rest. I can't do anything. I can't walk up the stairs. Bathroom visits have to be super duper short. I can't shower but for like 5 minutes, like twice a week. So it was basically lay down in the bed, sit down in the bed, whatever. They recommended that I go back to, and I'm going to call this doctor out. His name was Dr. Jenkins, and he was at Harbor Hospital. They asked that I go back to see him while my MFM doctor was on vacation to have more fluid removed. So we go back. We go to that Harbor Hospital on August the 23rd. And I believe it was August 23rd. It could be the 24th. It was the same page on my baby book. Anyway. They were the most unprofessional doctors I've ever encountered in my life. It was it was so painful. I was crying. I was screaming. Like, I've never experienced something like this. And like, I'm crying, and the doctor and the nurses are just like, you need to shut up and let us do this because you're only making it worse. And my mom was like flabbergasted. Like, how can you have a bedside manner like that? Like, she's obviously in pain. You need to just stop what you're doing, or, you know, do something else. And I tell you one thing, that experience made me not want to do a fluid removal again. I was adamant I wasn't going to do it again. I really, really was. So, I'm going to just mention a couple times where I have my fluid numbers written down, because it's kind of important to know, like, the journey here. So on August 20th to 29th, and a lot of things the next like 4 weeks were very uneventful, which is why there's nothing here. So August 29th, I measured at August 29th, I measured at 12 centimeters, which is phenomenal. Like, our levels were so down. September the 6th, it was up to 26 centimeters. In there, so you're talking 4 weeks later, I have to figure out. So I was pulled off the medication around 32 weeks, so that's kind of in between there when I was pulled off the indomethacin. In that time as well, on September the 7th, I met with McKenzie's future surgeon, Dr. Buck. I have so much respect for this man, but we'll get to him kind of in McKenzie's video. And then September the 12th, I measured up at 39 centimeters again, and my MFM doctor was like, I really want to remove fluid. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I'm so scared about it. It hurt bad. And she's like, let me tell you, sweetie. She's like, I don't do what he does. She's like, if you tell me it hurts, we're done. She's like, I got news for you. I actually numb you. And I'm like, okay, I'm willing to give this a shot if you can make it feel better. So we go in, and she does. The first thing she does is she gives me a shot and numbs my stomach. I didn't feel a thing after that. She put the needle in, the tube, and they proceeded to drain like 2 or 3 liters of, like, they filled like 3 bottles full of fluid from my stomach. It was incredible. I'm like, that's in me right now? Okay. I'm so thankful that I had the doctor I had for my MFM, because I didn't feel anything. She was so wonderful. She was so polite. You know, it was just amazing to me that, okay. And here's where things start to get a little crazy. So September the 19th, my contractions come back like full force, and I can feel them, and I'm like, okay. And I remember the week that I delivered McKenzie, I was in the hospital. Out of the 7 days prior to that, I was at the hospital 5 times, either seeing the doctor or getting checked out. So September 19th, contractions are back. We go up to the hospital. They do a stress test. You know, my sister and I were there for like 6 hours while I wasn't being admitted, but they were monitoring me and they were monitoring her. The next, alright, so September the 22nd, I wake up and I'm not feeling McKenzie move. I'm doing, you know, the kick counts and all that other stuff. I'm not feeling her move. So we go back to the hospital and they do an ultrasound, and my fluid numbers are really high again. She was okay, but my fluid numbers were really high, and that's probably why I wasn't feeling her. So they decide to remove some more fluid. That seemed to be the answer. They remove fluid, we go home, you know. I don't know the exact date. I believe it was either the next day or the 24th that I went to the doctor. I called the doctor, and, you know, I'm having a lot of pain. And the doctor gives me muscle relaxers. I don't know why. I think it was incredibly stupid. Everybody in my family thought it was incredibly stupid. And I know, I'm going to tell you why it was incredibly stupid. I was in labor. So there's a lot more to this, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna have to separate it into the 2 videos. But I wake up on September the 25th. It's like 4:15 in the morning, and my water breaks. I was in labor, and the doctor gave me muscle relaxers. That wasn't the, I'm flabbergasted by it, because she knew what was going on with my pregnancy, but she, you know, she was the new doctor to the practice, and she's no longer there. She was out very quickly, so I don't know much about that. Alright, so here we go. My water breaks. It's baby time. And Mackenzie's birth was one of the craziest things I can remember. Not really crazy, but we got to the hospital. My water, if you've had polyhydramnios, you know my water broke for so long. I felt so bad for whoever had to clean the triage room while they were getting me ready to go downstairs, because I soaked through so many pads, like the puppy pee pads they put on the bed. I don't want to call them puppy pee pads, but you know what I mean. I soaked through so many of them. I got up once to go to the bathroom, and there's water gushing everywhere. But that's how much fluid was still in me. So, get downstairs. My mom gets there. Mackenzie's godparents all arrive. It's about 9:01 in the morning at this point. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning at this point. I had just gotten my epidural, and I remember almost every nurse and doctor in that building barging into the room. No idea, but Mackenzie was having D-cells, and so they're like, you know, what are we doing? You know, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? You know, just trying to get her back up. They ended up putting a, you know, a head monitor on her, And all progressed. And here we go, about 10:30. It's time to, I'm ready to push. All right, let's do this. I'm going to tell you, I don't remember too much about pushing. What I do remember was that she was coming out sunny side up, and I felt the entire thing. And I remember the one nurse yelling at my sister to push the button, and my mom and sister's like, what button? The anesthesiologist had neglected to tell us, in order to get another dose of like medication, to hit the button. So the nurse is screaming to hit the button. My sister like, what button? Meanwhile, I'm trying to push this kid out, and she's coming out the wrong way. She's coming out sunny side up. It felt like an eternity. And that, like I said, I was in so much pain. That's why I probably don't remember too much of it, except for that it hurt. She was coming out the wrong way. But at 11:01, here comes McKenzie Rose. So, that's where I'm going to end this. And we're going to talk about her NICU journey in the next video. You know, I obviously had quite a few complications. It was difficult 6 weeks while I was on bed rest, because I went into labor at 28 weeks and 6 days, and she was born at 34 weeks and 5 days. So it was very difficult 6 weeks. But I'm so incredibly thankful for my mother and my sister, who in that time, they gave up so much to take care of me while I was stuck in a bed. My best friends, they, and the McKenzie's godparents, they gave up a lot. They would come down like once a week so that I had someone in the morning with me. My cousin Andrew even came one day to take care of me. Well, to help out, take care of me. You know, you know, I had such great family support then, and I'm still incredibly grateful for it, because there's no way I would have made it through those 6 weeks without some good friends and family. So that's where I'm going to end this. I'm going to say see you later, alligator, and you will have to wait for the next part of our journey.